Guitar design. What's best? This is the video on guitar body design. So what do you need in a guitar body? Well, you need a way to connect the neck to the tailpiece. And place to mount the pickups. You need a shape that allows it to be played while sitting down. Place to put your strap buttons. And room for any electronics that you're going to mount inside the body. And of course you want full access to all the frets. So that's really what you need, the basics in a body. Now what do you want in a body? Well, of course you want it to be lightweight. There's a trend these days towards lighter weight woods for bodies. You can also do things like hollowing it out in order to lighten it more. Yeah, so basically that's going to mean less material or using lighter materials, lighter woods or hollowing it out, that kind of thing. And obviously you want good balance in the guitar so that, the weight of the body compensates for the weight of the headstock if you've got a headstock, so that when you're seated or when you're standing, it's going to sit at about a 30-degree angle for playing. Now, in order to fulfill all these desirable design criteria, what I've come up with is something like this. Basically a minimalist body, just a little bit of wood connecting your tail piece and your neck, and it's got, a spot for your pickups and your bridge. There's another example here. Tailpiece, neck, place for the pickups, place for the bridge. Another one here, tailpiece, place for the bridge. There's the neck, and just a little bit of body connecting it all together. And flat bodies. I've discovered that flat body guitars are nice. They tend to be less clunky. I mean, it's like if you look at this thing is your typical thickness body, and compared to something like this, this thing is like so big and clunky and heavy feeling. By comparison, it's just silly, really. Yeah, so flat bodies I've found that with plywood, that stuff is actually that stuff, and I believe this one, and maybe that one as well. Those are all like reclaimed plywood that's about a ½ inch. And I have in the past with some builds had issues with slight warpage after a few months of string tension. Oh, that's the other thing. Obviously the body's got to be strong enough to support string tension. And that's what I'm talking about here. Is ½ inch ply might be questionable. 3/4 inch ply, or if you're using like solid wood planks or something like that, then ½ inch thick looks to be adequate enough strength for a thin body or a flat body type guitar. And then you just mount everything on top. Neck goes on top, pickup goes on top, bridge goes on top, trim goes on top, just like that. It's real simple. Let's see, I ran a test. I took like an 11-foot long piece of wood and hooked up one string as long as I could and the other one as short as I could on a Fender scale length. And there's about 13 inches of difference in the amount of string past the bridge on the two different strings. And there was no real difference as far as the tone of the strings themselves went. So, on guitars that have extra string past the bridge or past the nut, as you see here, you got extra string past them. It's kind of hard to see, but yeah, extra string past the bridge or past the nut has no real effect on tone. If you're getting, overtone from these little guys here ringing out, then you can just put a little foam underneath, and that'll kill that. And it makes that problem go away. I find that now, as far as like nice features to have on a body, some sort of a depth pick guard to keep you from picking too deeply, which means that you'll be able to pick faster. You can't pick fast if you pick too deeply. Let's see, tail tuners. If you're building a tail tuner type guitar, it looks like it's a better idea to put them all on the right hand side, at least for right hand guitar, because that gets them out of the way playing. You're less likely to hit them with your hand when you're wailing on the thing. Let's see, what else? Dual strap locks. I find that dual strap locks are really nice and convenient. Some players like to disconnect at the back, and some like to disconnect up here. Most people do at the back, I think. But when you're popping the strap off to put it in the case or work on the guitar or something like that, the dual strap locks are nice. Because that way you don't have like one screwed on all the time and the other one's a strap lock, and then you have to unscrew one or something like that. So, as far as the body itself goes, you want it to be ergonomic in shape so that it's comfortable for the player and has good layout as far as like where the controls are in relationship to where you play in the picking area. Jack location. Location of the jack on the guitar. You don't want it someplace where the cord's going to interfere with playing the guitar. So, like down at the bottom end is a good place, or along the right side is a good place. That kind of idea. You want a jack that works with wireless transmitter systems. The type that's just like a little plastic box with just a jack end coming out of it. They won't fit on a good old-fashioned Stratocaster type jack without an extension cord of some sort. Also on some like custom builds and such I've seen on YouTube, you've got guitars that require like a 90-degree jack or something like that, 90-degree cable for the jack because of the odd placement of the jack on the guitar itself, usually for aesthetic reasons. And that's not a good idea. You want a jack someplace where it's out of the way of using the guitar, and it doesn't have anything around it, and is not a weird shape, so that you can just use a straight cable with it. You can use a wireless system with it. You can use anything you want. Let's see, what else? Direct mounted pickups. Theoretically, yeah, it should make a difference. If you've got a weight on a spring on a vibrating system, odds are that weight's going to act as a dampener. And if your pickup is moving up at the same time the string is moving up, that's less relative motion between the two, which is less strong of a signal that you get out of the pickup. Whether it actually makes a difference, I have yet to see proof, so, it's your call as to whether you want to go for it or not. I'm finding at the moment that it's a convenient way to build these kinds of guitars. Because, it's like, you already know where your neck's going to be. You know more or less where your bridges and saddle heights are going to be. And so it's not too hard to figure out where your pickup height ought to be, and you can just go ahead and set it up that way, and then everything's all nice and good to go. And it's not like anything's going to move around enough that you really need to change the pickup height once you've got it in the sweet spot, so to speak. Now, it took me a while before I made this video after the last video, because I came up with something new. Well, I was reviewing my notes on bodies, and one of the things that I've noticed is that And this only applies to a certain type of guitar playing, and that type of guitar playing is playing metal. If you play metal, then right hand palm muting is a very big part of getting that grind, that crunch, that chug going on. So, and this is something that you don't really do that much in other types of guitar playing, like, you know, country or like 50s rock or whatever, folk or acoustic, these kinds of things. So the thing is that for playing metal, and if you're going to be doing the chug thing, then you want to have, you know, your hand like right here just below the saddles, so you can do this kind of thing. And the way a guitar is set up, when you got it on your right leg and your guitar is here, your hand naturally falls with the strumming position, you know, somewhere around the middle pickup, like this, which is, you know, if you've ever seen an old 1964 Beatles video of them playing, that's the way they're playing. They're strumming rhythm, and that's where you strum the rhythm at. And that's, you know, that's a legacy from acoustic guitars. So, and it, you know, then it carried over into that type of a guitar, and then it carried over into this type of a guitar, and you still see it on a shredder. But you see, a guitar like this is really, it's not necessarily purpose-built, but it's ideal for playing metal. And so, yeah, you want your hand back here, and so you're no longer, this is no longer your picking area. Your picking area is now right about there. Well, it's about a distance of almost 4 inches. So, the new idea, so I've been thinking for a while that for a shredder guitar, it would be a good idea to kind of move the entire guitar to the left about 4 inches. And I actually did that with the X1 body, which I should have grabbed for this video. But basically what I did with the X1 is I cut the body off right here and moved all this down 4 inches in order to get that kind of an effect. And it really worked nicely. It actually did. The X1 was a nice guitar. Maybe I shouldn't have taken it apart. But anyway, I might rebuild it again. I've still got the body someplace. The neck died. The neck was the neck for the X3 that got scalloped with a angle grinder. Yeah, I actually did that. But I digress. Just about done here. Right, so for a shredder, the idea is you want to shift the guitar maybe 4 inches to the left to put what you do is you close your eyes, you pick up your air guitar, you go to, like you're going to play, then open your eyes and look down and see where your hand is for your picking hand. And odds are it's going to be, you know, like over your right leg. And so what you do is you shift the guitar to the left about 4 inches by moving your leg cutout or bars or whatever you have here. And that moves the bridge like up here, which puts it right underneath where your hand falls. So, because when you're at a 30-degree angle, see, here's your cutout, and 30 degrees, this is what's directly above your leg when it's at the playing angle. This is what's directly above the center of your leg, is this part of the guitar up here. And so what you do is you move it so that like this part of the guitar is at a 30-degree angle from that. I'll be talking more about angles and where the cutouts go and stuff when I do the video on balance. There's going to be an entire video on just balancing guitars and ways to achieve balance and stuff, and the importance of balance, and not just getting it at 30 degrees. That's the important thing. You also want to have it balanced, tilting front to back and things like that too. So, but anyway, yeah. So for a shredder, and this is the reason why there was a delay in the videos, because I had to test it. And so for a shredder, I'd already tested it with with the X1 for a regular body, but I wanted to try it on these V-bar types as well. And so yeah, you move it, and it really does help. It doesn't extend the neck too far back away from you. It's not too far of a reach to the left in order to play, and it puts the guitar pretty much in the perfect position for right hand palm muting. No more of this having to reach over to the right in order to do that, or more commonly, one would kind of let the guitar hang down further in order to make it easier to reach the saddles or get your hand behind the saddles. So yeah, what I did is I actually tried it out. I put on shredder type bars on the X4. And what this does, if you compare it to the X5, so this is the X4. It's a Steinberger minimalist body with the V-bars. This one is done as a shredder, so this bar is all the way back here, and that places this pretty much right above your right leg. This one is got a headstock, and it's done as a regular guitar, non-shredder, and so that puts your right leg about here and puts the picking area right about there. This one here, your right leg is about here and puts the picking area right about there, up 30 degrees. And once again, up 30 degrees. So, yeah, that's the basic idea, is that, and you can see here, you get the bars about equal for these two guitars here. And you can see how this guitar is shifted that direction, well, about 4 inches compared to this one. Maybe even a little bit more, but you get the general idea. So yeah, for a shredder, something that shifted that direction seems to be ergonomically more preferable. For a non-shredder, if you're not going to be doing the right hand palm muting much, then this is perfectly fine. This is perfectly fine. I mean, this basically works like a standard guitar, just like that. This one here and this one here, you put them, you sit down with either one, or you stand up with either one with a strap, and both headstocks are in the same place relative to your body, and both bridges are in the same place relative to your body. And these are both Fender scale length here. So, and that is it for bodies. About the only other thing to mention would be, as far as materials goes, like I said, it's just got to be strong enough to hold string tension, and you don't want it to warp over time. And it looks like 3/4 ply or 1/2 inch plank is good enough. Make sure you got someplace to put your electronics. For these minimalist body ones, I'm finding that just putting them on a control plate on the bars themselves seems to be the best option. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it for bodies. So, until the next video, everybody have a good one. Hope this one had some useful information. Oh, I forgot one thing, one example. It has to be able, I did mention this, but I didn't show the example. Has to be something that you can play. Has to be a shape that allows you to play the thing both seated and standing. So it's got to have some place to put the strap locks where it'll hang without neck dive. And if you look at this guitar, this thing slides. Same thing as a Flying V or a Jackson Randy Rhodes. All three of those body designs, basically, they're not designed to be played sitting down, which some people might consider a design flaw. Or you might call it a feature. Who knows? You know how it is. But anyway, everybody have a good one. See you in the next video.